got that stuff junked and piled, and one at the far end of the piggery, you got stuff just piled in there, all up. Just looks like somebody threw junk in that one quarter. What's that? Wanda and Edie have never been good housekeepers. Well, then the inspection committee is going to have to teach me what good organized procedure is.
It's true.
In the first place, you should have told me there was no cattle there and no hogs there. I wouldn't have bothered to take them because it looked much better from a distance than it did present. And we hadn't come back here and had good results in the medical field, and they saw all those Guyanese getting help. He wasn't impressed. He was not impressed. I just have to tell it as it is. He was not impressed with that piggery.
The whole point is sometimes the faster way is more than most of the time the faster way is the sloppiest way. And if people would take time and stack stuff like she said, the wood and everything, and just do everything so it looks right when you get done the first time, because things just get worse, they don't get better. I'm sure the place would look a lot better.
It's true.
That's right. You never do know when somebody is going to be coming.
It's true.
That's a bad thing. You don't mess with newsmen. You got them there. You better use the sons of bitches. Though it won't come out like you said it. Yes, Al. General manager? He's in town trying to get us a big naval vessel. I mean, a big boat, 350 ton. So in the meantime, it wouldn't have been his responsibility. I don't know. I presume it would be Guy's responsibility. All of them. Really, it's all of your responsibility. You should have all taken, and I'm holding all of you responsible in the future. When you see that thing coming, if you don't see the maintenance person, the manager that is in charge, we will hold all of you responsible. You don't get that through the channels. And that should come directly to the radio office in the future. People like Christine, when you see a mess like that, come right to that radio room and say, Father, that is a mess down there. Write it up. But I mean, bring it to me. Bring it into letter, because that, you see, if we'd had a chance to clean that up, the pigs were swarming with flies. Inspection, they should have been dug so that the water was not as muddy and murky as it was on that occasion. There should have been a lot of killing of flies before the Russians got down there. Inspection knew the tour, or they should have asked about the tour, and the insecticide people should have asked about the tour. It's all your responsibility to be concerned about that. Just like when I was faced Sunday night, sitting there at the table talking to the Russians on the most sensitive question of all. Why did you come to the United States? And I'm trying to talk for black people, alienated, and how they would have got in violence and got killed. And I'm talking, and there's nobody there to talk but one. That is bad news. Bad news. Some of you left me high and dry there, and that was wrong. He looked around. He took a look. I think I came through it reasonably, but he took a look around. He wondered, what the hell is this, You can just see he's a very observant person. I'm trying to tell how black people would have been killed in the streets if they'd have come in there with guns like they're doing and done all these harassing things, that we would have reacted, and there would have been a premature violence that would have been counter-revolutionary, because there was no revolutionary ferment, there was no revolutionary coalition, there was no organization. So all would have happened would have been bloodbath, and we were probably being set up to create that bloodbath. But everybody needs to feel like this place belongs to you. Well, I don't give a damn what they do to me. Not one damn. All I want is the final translation out of this miserable thing called life. But people just go on about your lives like this damn place don't belong to you, and I'm supposed to keep it. I've been keeping people for 25 years and more. For 28 years since I started the movement. I've been keeping people full time. And that's why I resent this damn thing, that some of you people want to get into these shacking situations and no responsibility. Back to that point. I resent it because, if a fuck was all the person needed, I could maintain this organization by going down 4 hours, and I'd have most of the people that needed fucked. But that's not what people need. They need talk, they need counsel, they need help, they need someone to hear them, to feel, to listen, by God. And then assistance with children. And I want a very understood and clearly understood situation on this thing, one time and for all. How we're going to conduct this situation, what are the limits of responsibility, who is going to be participant thereof. We had a vote, but the vote, I think a lot of people think you voted against it, and so that gives you right to do what the hell you want. We said that the majority would rule for 6 months, and all people would abide by that majority decision. I think it was 6 months until it was reviewed. And so don't try to think just because you voted against the system, and a lot of people were not there, so we'll take the vote again. And we want to understand exactly what's going to happen in a relationship. We'll vote this again. But if the people are going to stay here, what's the matter? Yeah, well, I hope they don't wait there too long, because that press will leave. The press's idea? The press's idea? I don't know if it's a press's idea, not the press's idea. They're busy people. It's at the end of the day, 5 o'clock, they ain't going to stay. Press Democrat, good. That's good. They ought to arrive. It's ridiculous to be constantly besieged with these bastards, and it won't come out right as it is. It won't come out right. Yes. All right. I want to go on. It's about 10 minutes. If you are having a relationship, are we living together? If not, if we're going to have relationships that do not live together, I want clear definitions of what those relationships are going to be. You have a child, you assume responsibility. If you don't have a child, you get your ass in that nursery if you're a male and assume responsibility with children. You wash diapers and you deal with children. This thing of wanting to use people, I wish the hell, this is what it boils down to. A lot of you guys want sex and no responsibility. Now, I have never had that opportunity, and I got more sex to deal with than any of you got to deal with. None of you have had the problem that I've had. I've never been able to have sex without responsibility. What is it? Sammy's idea. It has fallen into the Himalaya mountains and promises to pour radiation debris that they have no way to calculate its lethal effect in the Ganges River throughout India. And all the Ganges River is used for drinking purposes, baptisms, bathing, and all sorts of things, and drinking. 3/4 of the population, yes. I was getting ready to, I didn't know the exact statistics. So it was a sensory device to be able to tell what was happening in China, and it was done without the Indian government's approval. And now it's collapsed and gone into it collapsed in the mountains, and promises to, with the melting of the snow, it said radiation debris would be pouring into the Ganges River. You can be glad that you are where you're at, and we want work to get our people here instead of infighting and shit, because it's going to be over, friends. It's going to be over. The Soviet Union today denounced their concept of peaceful detente. They said that it has proven since the time of Premier Khrushchev that it has been unacceptable. Said it has opened us to many charges of revisionism, but we are now back to the position where we have had to face that you cannot deal with capitalism, that the concept of gradualism and that change can come through democracy, and that coexistence is possible between capitalism and socialism is in grave dispute in the Soviet government. Now, I may be quoting just slightly off, but that's about it. Now, that's bad news, too. They're on a war footing, honey. I don't know what the hell is going to come out of it all, but that's, I don't know what else to say in the way of news. There's so damn much news, you can't keep up with all of it. We will make significant impact ourselves. I had an opportunity to do something through this movement in Central America. And within a few days, I ought to be able to tell you something about it. So we don't just sit here and idle I've tired of this idling shit and talking on news, so we have devised certain modus operandi that will help liberation in other places, at least to some degree. Okay, I can't think of any other damn news that is relevant. The Chinese sector of the population in general of Vietnam is rebelling against People's Republic of China's renegade foreign policy, and the People's Republic was forced in Beijing to say that they will withdraw from the Kampuchean, the Vietnamese border dispute, but they are demanding that USSR stay out of Vietnam, and the USSR didn't even respond to them. They said they did not respond to them. But China's still got her ass in Somalia, trying to back and further intensify, and gave pledges of support to the aggressive fascist regime of Somalia. And that's a strange kind of goddamn communism. I know there are people here that appreciate communism in Guyana, in China, but I don't know how they can appreciate it any further than its domestic effects, because it has been not an international communism. It's been a nationalistic communism. If we were here seated in this Jonestown community without any consideration for the medical people, and some of you get a little impatient, you're not friendly, we have 40 or 50 people, we don't know how in the hell we're going to afford it. But if you look at those precious dear people waiting in medical lines, and we didn't offer them some of our free assistance, I don't know how we would live with ourselves. In spite of those CIA, that element that says in this government that we don't do it. We go ahead and do it, and fuck them. If we were to maintain ourselves alone, certainly you have to defend your base. That was Lenin's philosophy. It was his philosophy, as opposed to Trotskyite views. Trotsky said export revolution before it's even worked out in the Soviet Union. You've got to build your own base. You've got to deliver your own people, liberate them, sustain them before you can extend help and assistance for liberation to other quarters. But if we in this particular time were to cut ourselves from giving assistance, our meals on Sunday, to these precious people who come in from outlying areas, we would be guilty of the kind of policy that China's following. Although China's policies of communism is not as pure as ours, because their ruling class still have very special interests. They have special facilities, homes and luxuries and travel allowances. That's something you don't see me take. If you see me taking any privilege, you bring it out here and I will deal with it. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I'm as damn near perfect as you can be. I know one thing, I do care, and I do get myself involved, and I sensitively listen, and I don't follow my ass. I don't do that. I don't allow that to happen. And I could. That's what really disturbs me is something like you. You think because you're young and I'm old that you've got the sex drive. You haven't got any sex drive, and I keep repeating it. You've got no sex drive. Some of you two-minute wonders, you haven't got any. You haven't got a sex drive, and I've still got one, but I do not allow it, and it's a strong one. I wish to hell it was just a simple sexual matter. You could just, instead of counseling, just go down. I could take care of people who need to feel good about themselves. I could take care of 30 in a night. But I don't think that's what people need. I think they need something more than that. Maybe social acceptance begins there, but by God, it doesn't end there. It doesn't end there. And some of you guys think that you're too much. You think all that you're pricked, you walk around with your prick, that it's greatly desired. And you lose that way. Absolutely you lose that way. You want a quick fuck? I don't want you. I can't imagine wanting to fuck just a body. I hope there's more to it here. I hope that these kind of programs that we're involving ourselves in, we see taking place in the community, superficial relationships, breaking down of the family. I think that you cannot extend the larger family unless you extend the smaller family. If you don't have a unit somewhere to measure caring and sharing, I don't believe that we can ever extend this on a larger basis. Now, if you really want a free fuck, I think it ought to be extended to more than just a casual meeting. Then get a house and let every man's wife be open season. All women. And then you have to follow. You have to follow. Except those who don't want any participation in it. But that will not be the man's decision. I think you women need to cool some of this shit. I think you need to say, the next time you fuckers start this shit, I am going around and fuck anybody I please in the entire goddamn community. And nobody better do it without my permission. You need to get literate permission. We're going to ask you to take in some children. I'm not going to do so you can't get emancipated. You can't do it. Take too many men. You get into a cocky-ass attitude. I'll bring in some people that have been through revolution that'll be far more humble. And humble in their role because they know what it is to nearly die and really destroyed by the fascists in Chile and were tortured someone. I'll bring them in. I'm not going to have it scourged. You men are getting a cocky-ass attitude. I said a cocky-ass attitude. And you sisters ought not be so hard up. Now, you talk about these goddamn fucks. We go through them all the time. There's 2-3 minute fuck. Shit. You ought to get you a sugar cane. Go down and get some sugar cane and cut it and then make it sweet on top of it.
Right, or a banana.
And you can move it much faster than 2 minutes, I'm sure.
I'd like to say this. If a woman gets liberated from her man, I'm talking about in a relationship.
Testing.
I mean,
testing.
Makes him hold the line and be other than chauvinistic. And the rest of you, if you quit standing on the sidelines with your arms wide open so he can walk right into them, we might get some of these men grown up.
I'm going to tell you, you better, because we got mercenaries out there. This goddamn press can't even answer the mercenaries. They won't even deal with them. They've nothing to say because they're involved in it. They've consulted with it. The press has heard it privately, and it's a threat to commit a criminal violation, to kidnap and to invade his sovereign territory. And that's how bad off America is. That the press will consult with these motherfuckers and not report them to the proper authorities. It's criminal. It's a criminal act of conspiracy to talk about coming into a sovereign territory or any place and taking by force to kill, dead or alive, and take them back by mercenaries. Mercenaries, everyone knows that mercenary means murderer. And if you don't get this thing under control and get your heads down to zero where I'm at, some of you fuckers, it carries over. I'm telling you. And I've fucked people for 7 hours for this cause. But I'm going to tell you, if you don't keep yourself at an operation zero in your sex life, it'll affect all your other judgments. If you think somebody needs you and is attracted to your prick, and I tell you, I wouldn't talk. If some of you motherfuckers with 2 or 3 minutes, I would shut up. And you dumb bitches that go for 2 or 3 minutes, you're sadistic because you don't even get warmed up, and you're the ones going to get the pregnancy because we're running out of pills. You're going to get pregnant by somebody that won't give a shit and won't diaper the child, will never even look at the child, and pass it up every goddamn Sunday. And I'm going to come down on you bitches. If you lay your ass down, you better know you're going to get it. Because you hold the key. You're the oppressed class. You're the oppressed class. I'll finish in just a minute. You are the oppressed class. It was not for the white man to organize the black people. If we'd have waited on the white man to organize us, blacks and Indians, we never would have got our shit together. We had to take it in our own ranks and militantly come together and come over here. And you women are waiting for your oppressor to give you deliverance. And God damn it, you're going to have to get delivered. You're an oppressed class, and you're going to have to take your deliverance. Now, we'll talk about free fucks later. We'll talk about that. You want an international communal fuck? Then, okay, it goes both ways. Sisters can take care of more men than the men can take care of women, I can assure you.
That's right. I would like to propose right now, though, that the woman who is standing and waiting on the sidelines for the man that is going to be untrue or whatever word you want to use to the person that they're committed to at that moment. The woman that opens her arms and her legs to that man will get the same discipline as the man who went to her.
In the first place, the press can say nothing about these mercenaries because they're all in the way. Now, you guys, if you don't keep down humble, shit. I don't know what to think. Why you can't see. If you don't keep humble in your sex life, male or female, it will carry over to everything. Be cynical about everything that comes down your path. That's the only way I've been able to protect you. I don't believe anybody's statement. I investigate everybody's statement. Nothing that comes across my path do I take for granted. If I had, I'd long since got the goddamn biggest head in this place, because half the church at one point or another would try to blow smoke up my ass and tell me they wanted to fuck with me. But I wouldn't let that shit get to my head. I always go around with a cynicism. And if you guys, you brothers, you've been trained, women have not been put in that position, you've been trained to fight, the women are going to get trained to fight, but if you don't get your ass together, I'm telling you, I'm not trying to penalize you, but if you don't know where in the hell you are in your sex life, you're not going to know anything else about yourself. Nothing. And if you want to take this gamble of getting a baby and getting the hostility, you ought to have some of this shit. You can't fuck good enough to not get the hostility you get when it's over. You better be sure what you're opening you want. Because you're not getting nowhere with sex. The woman is seeking you for some kind of damn image thing. Because a woman is sexually driven, she cannot get her orgasm in no few minutes. No way. So something else that you women are doing with this sex business. And why is it you have to do it here? I don't understand it. I don't know why you want to take such a chance. What kind of fuck is worth it? What are you going to do when the pills run out? These pills are horribly expensive. I don't know what the pharmacist can tell us, but it's very, very, they're very low. So what's going to happen then? You brothers going to have to use rubbers, and that'll take care of half of our jobs. We're going to penalize everybody that gets pregnant. We can't afford pregnancies now. We owe more than that to our people. What are we going to do if we got 50 pregnant women when war comes? We ought not to be afraid of fighting. The Cubans had to fight. The United States had to fight the goddamn British. And everybody's been fighting. The Indians and the blacks, we've always been on our back haunches facing enemies, common enemies, ever since the goddamn Western civilization began. Now, we are not out of war. And you women better not get yourself knocked up without clearance. I'm telling you, if you're going to have a baby, it better be planned. It's been miracle after miracle that all these babies come over here with all kinds of conditions inside the mother's system, all kinds of shit because U.S. medicine don't give a fuck about poor white or black. And it's been a miracle that one of these babies have been born healthy. A miracle. And we are not at this time with mercenaries, maybe out there now. We have no goddamn business getting some woman pregnant so she can't go out. Then have to be pampered, she can't move, and there's a lot of bullshit in that too. And maybe that's why some of these women are getting pregnant, brothers, so be careful. I'm going to pull a stop to that shit, because in the Soviet Union and in China, they work up to the 8th goddamn month, and they do a productive work, and it's all bullshit that you have to go around being pampered at 3 weeks. What the hell are you going to do? We're going to have to make it more difficult. I think there must be something going on here, because if it was made as difficult as it should be in a war period, we wouldn't have so many people wanting to get pregnant. And you don't want your ass. A lot of women have got the feeling that all they are is a baby factory. That's one of the old holdovers of the unemancipated female. And I don't know why. It's just as bad, woman. You goddamn women better hear me. It's just as bad. Don't you ever criticize a black person for saying, yes, sir, no, sir. Because as you go along with that concept, you are just as bad as Step It, Fetch It. You are just as much an Uncle Tom and Aunt Jane as any one of those suckers when you go along being a baby factory, doing all the damn housework, doing all the goddamn diaper work, taking care of the baby, and letting Mr. Strut-ass walk up and down the aisles, talk at 4 people at the same time. And fucking none of them, and getting all the glory.
I think one of the problems might be that we do have this Lamaze method, and our women have been very strong through childbirth. But that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. For you women that are looking on, and you men that are looking on, it hurts to have a baby. We talk about having babies not without pain, but without drugs. And anyone here that's had one since they've been here, Lamaze or whatever, it hurts. So just because you don't hear the screams and all that, and you see them being stoic and getting up and walking away from the living room table, I want you to know it hurts. Okay?
Ain't this the miserable goddamn shits? I ain't miserable goddamn shits. I don't know what to do with these people. I don't know what they want. I don't really. I'm honest with you. Brothers, it will be good when you emancipate them, but if you don't emancipate them, they ain't worth shit. And you're not going to get them emancipated until they do. I got to bring another man down here because he can't figure out. They got to get on the fucking. We got a crisis. The mercenaries got to get on and talk to two women at the same time. And you dumb bitches. You dumb bitches. One of my main leaders back there. Why you fuck with him, women? Why you fuck with these men when then they can't decide who they want? And they want to talk to both of them right in the middle of a crisis. I just love these kind of people. Right in the fucking midst of the commentary. I got no black leader now. Because he's gone ape shit. Well, back on to you. Where is this sister? Where's this sister? Where's the sister with him? No. I'm talking about this sister with Hugh Fortson.
Sanders.
Now, I hope you know what you created. I hope the hell you know what you created.
Hugh Fortson, I wasn't either. I had just came to the cause, and he explained. He told me that
it was probably officially authorized, or what? What did he tell you?
He told me that him and his wife were no longer,
You women, that's the first thing they tell you. It's been cleared by me, or it's all right, or they're separated until she comes home.
You didn't come and ask me. You didn't ask. You didn't want to know the answer. You didn't come and ask me. Exactly. I knew that he was going to your house, and I talked to him about that.
We got a mess now. Here he comes. We'll have to bring his ass in here. He was pretty good in the pulpit. A lot of folk that can be good in the pulpit, but they ain't worth shit in their routine when women don't give them some help.
Did you break it off when you found out he was married?
I knew he was married, but he told me that him and his wife was not
Oh, you
together.
women, how many times have we heard this? You're new, all right, but what is it? You don't want him? So I'm going to have to tell him some damn thing. Got to talk to, right in the middle of a goddamn crisis. Got to talk to somebody. Right in the middle. It don't make no difference if we're talking to 85 news people and the whole fucking radio band. We're going ape shit. Got to talk. Call long distance to talk collect at $16 for 3 minutes. He not on a dime. He ain't got a penny. I'm paying it. Baby, sweet darling, been here for months. Yeah, that shows. Yes, there's the point. He made a point. He's got his goddamn balls on his mind. He took that fucking petition on the front steps. They asked me why. Well, that's if he hadn't taken it, I wouldn't have to. They wanted me to address myself to a goddamn petition I've never even seen. He took it, but nobody knows where he is. Because he's got his mind on his balls. And you, sister, you're new. How new are you?
I came to the cause in October of last year.
Okay. October of last year.
October.
A year ago.
Past October. This just past.
While I was here.
Yes.
While I was gone.
Yes.
You know, and okay, that puts lots of things in perspective.
I only want to say, probably didn't realize.
That's probably the only woman he could find, though. You know that, darling? He picked somebody that was new. He picked somebody who was new because they wouldn't fall for that shit.
There were hours that I didn't know where he was. I got to where he checked in when he left, and he checked in when he came in after I raised quite a lot of hell with Hugh.
But you see
But
what
I
you
knew
do?
well where he was.
You
He
see
was
what
with
you
you.
women do? It's the same old story. Same old story. We've been through it 50 times. 50 goddamn times we've been through it. Why don't you women be strong? They will be true to you, and you will make them strong because they've been weakened by the fact that they've been pampered. Strong doesn't mean just chew ass every second. But I'm talking about being strong. Give some intellectual content and substance. Don't just look moony-eyed. They'll leave you. We'll move from one moony-eyed to the next. Now he wants to see if he hasn't shit in Rhonda's nest. Because what he's really worried about, that Rhonda's going to know about this. She already knows about it because he calling for you. Now, I can't control that. I wouldn't let her be hurt. But it's too late. He's already calling for you. I didn't bring it out on you because you said you were new. But you're going to have to deal with the damn thing now. So I'm glad that you are here since last time.